Nadine Rene Oprineo, at talagang kailangan natin ng integration. Integration ng agriculture, ng industrialization. Gusto ko palang i-acknowledge ang Executive Director ng SINA. Ang SINA ay isa sa mga mahigpit na kritiko ng importasyon. Ngayon, palakpakan natin si Mr. Jason Caimlet. Lagi yan nasa committee hearings. Hindi, mamaya tatawagin natin yan para sa mensahe. So ngayon, tawagin natin si Mr. J. Laksamana. Isa rin siyang advocate ng entrepreneurship, social enterprises. At ngayon ay team leader ng IRDF Regenerative Coconut Project dito sa Quezon. Si Sir J.
Maraming salamat Don Arce at sa mainit na pagbati sa pagkuita sa katiklayaan ni Sir Frank. Tamang-tama, may bagyo tumarating, Francisco. So, very fortunate itong kaganapan na to, no? At ang binigay sa akin ni Glenn at Ma'am Marce na topic ay convergence of volatility and climate chaos. Pagsama-sama, pagtatagpo ng mga mahirap i-predict, volatile, bago-bago,
Isa-isa.
sa klima, at kaguluhan sa klima. Yun, no? We have to confront the active crisis, squeezing the remaining life out of the rural areas and countryside.
Isa-isa kayo.
Ito'y topic ko, pero nabigyan na ng mahusay na balantas ni Henry kanina. So, example ko na lang yung regenerative coconut project ng IRDF sa Bundok Peninsula, Quezon. So, ito yung why the countryside is under attack, under siege. Meron tayong perfect storm na tinatawag. Yung Philippine, the whole country actually is nasa typhoon belt. Alam na natin yun. But among the areas sa ating bansa, ang countryside, rural countryside, especially the Eastern Seaboard, ito yung portion na talagang nadarama ang epekto ng climate change. It's being squeezed by four interconnected crises. Hindi ko na yung climate chaos. Ano yung climate chaos? Ito yung pag-intensify ng climate change effects. At hindi na lang tayo nag-mitigate, hindi na lang tayo nag-a-adapt. No? Nag-prepare na tayo sa permanent loss at permanent damage. Kasi meron na tayo yung rising sea levels. Pag tumaas ang sea levels na ito, sino maapektuhan? It's the coastal areas. Karamihan sa coastal areas, pag tumaas yan, poor fishers and farmers, at kailangan lumikas. Yung mga mayayaman naman, nasa pangkataas at magagandang lugar na kaya mag-withstand ng sea levels. Extreme temperature leads to desertification ng ating agricultural lands. So, extreme temperature, maranasan po namin yan sa Quezon, meron kami 10,000 black pepper seedlings at progressively since last year, late last year, marami ang nasa mortality, nasa 90% na mortality at mabuti na lang may mahusay tayo mag-propagate ng remaining plants. So yun, malaki, biodiversity, so yung biodiversity, ito yung samot-saring buhay na nakikita natin sa ating protected and natural environment, sa ecosystems, kung saan we are very interdependent in terms of productivity among flora and fauna, mga halaman at mga species, animal species. Pangalawa, market volatility. Alam natin, may global crisis, fuel crisis, energy crisis, at apektado na lahat. Mamaya, pakikita natin yan. At ang specific na effect ito sa project natin sa Quezon. And then human capital drain, na nabanggit na kanina, aging na ang farmers, at low uptake mula sa youth, no, for modern agriculture. At malaki din ang brain drain at in fact, we are exporting human capital elsewhere. Siguro, pumunta sila sa Singapore, kaya mas maunlad ang mga Singapore ngayon, sa Bangkok o sa Thailand. Alam mo, estudyante siguro ni Doc Ted. And then yung persistent rural poverty, nagiging cycle yung rural poverty at lalong humihirap ang mas mahirap. So sa conduct sa reality, coconut farming households ang aming target, no? They all experience the four crises simultaneously, sabay-sabay, making farming increasingly risky and less attractive sa next generation. So ito yung climate chaos. No? Sa climate chaos, farming amid sa uncertainty, no? Walang kasiguruhan. No? Yung climate risk affecting cocoa farmers, yung El Nino leads to reduced coconut yields, at intercrop failure. Walang ganang mag-diversify yung coconut farmers, bukod sa banana na traditional, bukod sa ibang mga fruit trees na nandun. Pero hindi naman nila tinitrade yan commercially, usually home consumption lang. And then meron tayong extreme rainfall. Ang impact niya, erosion, nutrient loss, flooding. So, mahirap nang i-amend ang ating soil ngayon. No? We need a lot of inputs to do, retrieve yung nutrients loss. Typhoons. Ito, nakita namin ito. Nung nag-baseline kami sa carbon baselining, marami pa lang ang coconut trees ang tinatahanan sila. Pollen trees, damaged farms. So, negative carbon ang bilang doon. Of course, lost income. Heat stress, ganun din, lower farm productivity and labor efficiency. So, farmers lose a significant portion of annual income from a single severe climatic event. Isang malakas na outbreak, gaya ng Irlanda, Sendong, etc. Ubos lahat ang income generating capacity ng farmers. Climate risk is no longer a future threat. It is already here. It is already reducing incomes today. Ano naman itong attack ng market volatility? Ito yung sources ng market instability. Basically, volatility at predictability ng prices. Pag hindi natin ma-predict ang presyo, tumataas ang fuel, diesel and gasoline, kerosene, tataas din ang transport cost, tataas din ang fertilizer, and then ang confluence niya, ang combined effect niya food and energy crisis. No, na-experience ito natin sa Quezon, sa Bondo Peninsula. Smallholders are the most vulnerable. Why? Karamihan sa ating farmers, they buy in retail. Hindi naman wholesale yan. Wala namang capital yan to buy wholesale para makapag-discount. So retail sila ng fertilizer, retail sila ng pesticides, retail sila ng ibang mga inputs. That's why taas kanilang kapital na kailangan. Most of them produce sell individually. Yun yung basic weakness ng ating farmers. Sila ay hindi member ng mga thriving and self-governing organizations who can bargain for them. Yung iba naman kasi self-help groups, yung ibang co-ops are very limited to financial access. Microcredit, not really bargaining hard for them sa mga big traders. Pangatlo, nandiyan na, limited bargaining power, particularly as a collective. Farm gate prices, they have to take farm gate prices because, pang-apat, kung hindi nila kunin yung farm gate price ngayon, pang-apat, wala silang storage, wala silang capacity for processing, and ang mangyayari niyan, they will have to we at the mercy ng traders. So yun yung vulnerability areas ng ating farmers. So sa Bondok Peninsula, again, they remain dependent on raw commodity sales. Tulad yan, okra. They absorb most market shocks while capturing the least value. While there are fair trade and organic farmers organized under one federation or one NGO in strong NGO in the Bondok Peninsula, very little din yung actual benefits dito sa farmers. In fact, yung hatian sa organic premium and fair trade premium still favors the aggregator. So, human capital drain, ito yung isang maatake sa ating farmers. Ito yung democratic challenge, maganda ang ating farmers. Ang uptake ng mga older veteran farmers natin sa technology ay hindi na masyadong mahusay. And the youth are not really into basic farming. And then meron tayo consequences of the drain, or shortages during peak season, loss of farming knowledge and heritage, kasi walang continuity. Pagka namatay yung older farmer, the younger farmer does not take on yung earlier practices. Kung meron man, ito yung mga youth na nakapag-aral sa prestigious schools to bring in the technology to the farms. And then yung new tech adoption is lower. Ito yung challenge sa amin dito sa Regen Carbon Carbon Project Generation. Yung project is very dependent on applications. But yung farmer, hindi naman ganun tech savvy sa pag-manipulate sa smartphone. That's why we will have to handhold them. No? Kailangan step by step, linear yung ating education sa nila, capacity building. And then reduce agriculture. So, most coconut farms are maintained by elderly farmers with limited access to modern farm practices, digital tools, climate information, enterprise development. Merong mga ilan they have access, but hindi ito ang laganap. So ito yung isang attack dog ng itong chaos at crisis na to. Poverty trap. Living harvest to harvest. At alam ni Kaed yan, many coconut farmers in general, cannot invest. And very low ang savings nila. No? Wala silang collateral. Wala silang access to affordable credit na hindi usurious. Ngayon lang merong microfinance pero hindi rin ganun laki ang benefit nito kasi micro nga, masyadong maliit. Ang challenge ngayon is really to really acquire machineries. Hindi kakayanin. And then they are vulnerable, yung savings nila are vulnerable to emergencies. So, trap sila, susukol sila. Low income na nga sila, wala kang savings. Siyempre, pag walang savings, walang farm investment kasi unahan nila yung pagkain, kalusugan, inflation. Dahil walang farm investment, walang makinarya, walang bagong technology, low ang productivity. Pag low ang productivity, we're back to low income. Cycle siya, circle, poverty circle siya. It's a trap. So, ganoon din, most coconut farmers in the Bondok Peninsula cannot afford soil restoration. Very sophisticated na yung soil restoration. Ngayon lang ako na-expose sa mga acronyms ng FPJ, IMO, etc. At napakahirap palang tungkulihin yan. No? And then yung option is really to diversify their farms. Pero ang hirap. Kaya ang nagiging default nila ay only option. Therefore, there is field harvest that can push families deeper into it. So ano yung IRDF ambag? Contribution to the Region CC response. We try to build resilience. ng ating coconut farmers through regenerative coco-carbon communities. So we're piloting this, we're working and we're starting again because we hit a stone wall sa organic farms, no? Na hindi namin pwedeng mag-introduce ng external crops. So we're going into conventional farms now, na non-organic, but we will introduce yung coco-carbon regeneration. Through climate resilience, through climate carbon modeling, no? Intercropping madre de cacao, 10 to 13 stakes across one coconut tree. Yung root system nila will be in synergy with the root system ng coconut and will spur increases in number of nuts per tree and also the kernel, pagkapal ng kernel ng bawat upo or niyog. So, second, meron tayong income diversification where we have established a nursery that nurses black pepper and ginger and probably sitaw para may cash crop. And then ito, isang katakot-takot na farmer capacity building mula sa nursery management, pag-gather ng Gliricidia carbon technology, pag-layout nito, and then yung black pepper, propagate yung black pepper and ginger and sitaw. And then yung sources of rural investment kasi although long term ito, eventually, pag sa kanila yung lupa, at sila yung caretaker at meron silang special power of attorney, they could earn a carbon credit, carbon certificate, at tradable yun once the project meets its carbon target levels. So IRTF and its involvement and regencies can help farming households in the Bundok Peninsula become more resilient, more productive, and better prepared to thrive despite the increasingly volatile future in agriculture. And at least mitigate and manage some of the crises. So ito po yung brochure namin. Ito yung layout ng coconut and Gliricidia. And of course, the intercrop of black pepper. Including some materials, paano prepare soil, etc. And hopefully nasa app yan, tuturuan mo yung mga farmers sa app. Step by step, farmer by farmer, farm by farm. So yun po yung
Meron po tayong video na
meron video.
meron po tayong video na pero pwede natin
Nagawa pa lang.
Okay. Hindi po. Pwede lang po makahingi ng presentation. Pasend na lang. Thank you.